Welcome.
Hello from Day 2 Gamers.
From the show floor.
You can see we already have a nice sheen of sweat.
My lip is so
just
sweaty.
Entering the room.
My lip is so sweaty. Already, yeah, the Day 2 being the PAX day coming true. Everything has longer lines than we ever expected.
Yes, we're definitely not getting into any of the big names today.
No.
None of the Nintendo, none of the Astrobot PS5. So it'll be a wandering day, an indie day.
It's a light day for us, appointments-wise, so we can just kind of see what we see and let you know about it after. But we're just going to be taking you along with us, taking you on a ride. And I hope you enjoy seeing the sights from the show floor. How you feeling?
Just hot and sweaty. It's gonna be a rough one, but it'll be good.
I mean, it was hot. I'm not any hotter, honestly, than yesterday. So.
I am.
But yeah, we'll check back in soon.
All right, see you out there.
Take it away from us and nap some more. Ba-ba-da.
Ba-ba-da-da. Take a look at my girlfriend. She's the only one I got.
Okay.
You were recording,
That's the whole
right?
video, yeah. No, I was recording.
Nice. That'll be the intro, right?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Day 2 is over. Thank you show floor Nate for throwing it back to us. Throwing it back to us?
Yeah.
Throwing it back for us.
He was showing some stuff off camera that you
Yeah.
guys don't want to see.
Yeah, you missed some stuff on the show floor that let's just say it's gotta stay on the show floor.
What happens in PAX West stays in PAX West.
It certainly does.
We're back. We're
We're
done.
back. We're at the hotel.
It was an interesting day because it was a much lighter schedule for us. And initially we thought maybe that meant we could get a lot of stuff like that we wanted to check out of the way. But it was a pretty busy day.
Yeah. Like
So,
crowd-wise.
Yeah. We always knew the Saturday was going to be the big day, and that's kind of the talk around town.
Similar to last year, so we knew to expect that, but yeah.
But I think, the talk around town was also that this was bigger than expected. Even kind of seemingly back to normal was the kind of way I heard it spoken about, was that like last year's busy day was still lighter than the usual PAX West. So
We even heard just anecdotally, like on the show floor, we heard some devs sort of, saying that like last year was kind of weird. I'm glad to see it's, you're having some people stop by the booth this year, like that sort of thing.
So it feels like this level of crowd is again back to normal, back to what people expect from PAX West. And so with that, it was kind of hard to get anything like that we really wanted to get, done because, like we could wait in a line, but we have so many appointments, we have so many things booked, and it's like it's hard to commit to a line and then be like, you know what, actually we gotta go, and then it feels like such wasted time. And there was like several times where we were like considering waiting for something, and I'm like, I just think we're gonna be sitting here and then have to leave, and then it was like, what were we doing,
Several longer demos today,
we'll get into
interestingly.
Lots of longer demos, like the ones we particularly like hopped into. It's just happened to be much longer than we expected, but it was a good day. Yeah, we only properly had like 3 appointments, and beyond that it was us just going around places and roaming. As you saw in the footage, we were walking the show floor quite a bit.
Getting those steps in.
But at the same time, we gave ourselves lots of breaks today because, again, we could only do so much. And I think yesterday we kind of skipped lunch thinking like, hey, we had a big breakfast, I think we'll be good. And that was kind of a mistake.
You know what hit today?
What?
Midday ibuprofen.
Yeah, that also helped.
Literally game changer.
That really helped, and it was just a chiller day. I think we're gonna kind of go back to high intensity tomorrow because we have a lot of appointments. But then I think we're also gonna have a lot of things that we're gonna try to hit that require some of that waiting. But like we have the availability and it's a priority for us to try to get to these things. As we walked out today, I told Julie like I feel it, like I'm feeling good, but it's also feeling like I can hear in my head the 48 hours remaining, and so it's like having to like, okay, let's buckle down and figure this out and make sure we're getting everything out of this that we want, because costs a lot to come out here and takes a lot to you don't have these opportunities, so want to make the most out of them while we have them. So feeling that like feeling good, this has been going well, but okay, now it's crunch time, now is the time to get in there,
right?
And so but it was a good day. We all total, how many there? So 3 appointments. And then we snuck in
9 total games.
Snuck in 6 others, some longer and more, involved than others of those other things beyond our appointments. But let's dive in.
Let's do it.
So we walked over. feeling the aches and creaks in our bones, and we were a little late get out the door today, but I think we were okay with that. We didn't have anything until 1, and so 1 was our first appointment. So we're like, we can show up a little later, and by that I mean like 5 minutes, after the doors open versus like it's not like late. But so we head over, and yeah, like I said, we have so much time before our first appointment, so we're kind of like, what do we got? What can we do? And so we're just kind of walking around, getting the feel of the crowd, and yes, like pretty immediately, it's like, oh, there's a crowd. This is pretty hefty.
And like body heat, like sweating first thing
and so
when
we're just
you
like,
step
Jesus, like, okay, let's get a little overwhelmed. And then, when you feel overwhelmed, what do? You go to the comforts of Wholesome Games.
You do.
We just happened to like kind of wander past and saw that like, oh, you're like, oh, make room. Like, I wanted to check that out. And just, as we're like kind of deliberating, we see the person kind of like that was on the station kind of be done. And we're like, oh, let's hop on. There's no line or anything. And so we hopped in to make room, which is a fun little like diorama furniture room design kind of game. And I didn't play, so I'll let Julie take over here in a second. But yeah, it looked really cute. It had kind of there was 2 modes. There's like a diorama mode and a guide mode. It was called like guide mode, right? Or worlds.
Yeah,
worlds or
maybe.
something like that. And worlds being like you get into a place and you have like certain objectives that they want you to follow. And yeah, from what I saw, it was really cute. And yeah, by the way, I learned how to overlay stuff on my phone.
Woo-hoo!
So you'll see some of that footage here. The timings got messed up a little bit, I think.
They did, yeah, I noticed.
Which is
that
frustrating.
It was like early.
Yeah, which
But
is really
we'll
frustrating.
try and figure that out.
Because I worked so hard on that. But yeah, make room.
Yeah, so make room. I just found out about that. Their last, what was that? Their last Wholesome
Probably Direct.
Yeah. And was like just immediately captured by that. I love a little sort of making a room sort of thing, and interior decor. So yeah, hopped on maybe like 10-15 minutes. We went into, I think, that world's area first, and so it was interesting. They had these different rooms that you could create, and it was sort of around these objectives. So the one that I went into was called like Vampire's Welcome or something like that. And so it was, you click on that, and went into this like dim room, but it had like windows, and it wanted us to, take the windows out so that the sunlight wasn't coming in. And then, but it's dark, and we still need to be able to like do stuff to be able to see my victim. I mean, a friend, like that sort of writing. And so yeah, put in some lamps and just guides you through these little objectives. There were a few more, like a mirror, a cat, put a cat somewhere. Just these little things it wants you to do, and there's quite a bit of customization for each piece that you put down. So like
different colors.
You can, there's a pretty big selection of colors that you can change all the furniture and accessories into.
And like different parts of it.
Yeah. So, like a couch, and then you can change the body of it and also the legs, like that sort of thing. Or like the exterior of the lampshade and the interior of the lampshade, that sort of thing. So it was pretty in-depth. You can also change like the size of objects, which I really love, so that you can really sort of get the room looking how you want it to look. You can put things on top of other things, like you could put like plants on top of the shelf that was in the room, on top of the fireplace, like whatever it may be. So yeah, definitely was, I liked all the customization there, and did a little bit of the sort of free diorama mode too. I decorated a camper.
That was cool.
little
You could
camper
pick. There was
van.
like house, camper, and then like I forget
There
what the
were a few
last one.
others.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and that's just sort of unguided. You can just make whatever room you want to make, and
Make room.
however you make room, however you want it to look. Um, I chose a camper van, and then first thing I put in it was a fireplace, just to be funny. um, and just made a cozy little abode sort of thing
Yeah.
in there. Put a bunch of plants, and yeah.
Put in Julie's final camper photo here. Wow, beautiful.
Good job, Nate. It might be a few seconds early. We'll see.
No.
Yet to be determined. But
Yeah.
that was make room.
So that was fun to kick off the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went back into the hordes. Yeah, because it was very like the way we put it. And this was last year when it was worse. This year it was like, yeah, you walk into like traffic, like you literally like wait, like that's how busy it got. And so back into the traffic, and then yeah, we noticed a game. Excuse me. We noticed a game that caught our eye in the emails. They sent out a bunch of emails to the press list, and it was a Seasonspree, a game we've been checking out or been interested in for a bit. It's funny, we were waiting for the demo. There was one station, and then they were next to the fish game. I really wanted to tell the fish game guy that like I'm intrigued, but it's like seems like out of my depth. But I love Michelle in the Pit. I love what you guys are doing over there. Yeah, we were waiting for Seasonspree. There was like a station, but then there was a guy with just like holding a Switch next to us, and then he's like, "You guys checking out the fish game?" And we're like, "No, we're here to check out Seasonspree." And he goes, "Oh my God!"
I guess we were giving off fish game
Yeah, I know. Well, no, he
vibes.
was. I was almost sad because he was like, I just figured you were fish game guys because like it's been really popular.
Yeah.
So he's like, he just was like, no one wants to check out my game. So I'm like, no, we're excited for for Seasonspree. And he goes, oh my God, like, you want to play it on the Switch? I have it right here. And so that was a kind of an interesting and fun experience to do a demo on the Switch like that. And Seasonspree is this game where you play as what are you, like a little
like tanuki,
and you live in a, oh my gosh, okay, you live in a little village of animals, Animal Crossing like, right? Like just a bunch of little guys, a little cute. There's like a owl and a not a koala, a raccoon, I think maybe.
Yeah.
So
just a bunch of animals.
Yeah. And it's the whole gimmick is it's actually like a time loop game where you walk to the right, time goes forward. You walk back, time goes back. And so it's a lot of like running back and forth to do different quests and stuff. And so Julie played this as well. And,
yeah. Seasonspree was a very good Switch game. I'll start by saying that. Like it just like the controls are pretty simple, like Nate was saying, just sort of, depending on which way you're going. And it's not so much, like a big world. It's like
no, it's
you're almost on like a little globe like this, and you're like
and you're just going left and
it.
right,
Yeah.
right? It's not forward and back. It's just literally 2D going around.
Yeah, and so it was basically it was sort of like counting down the days until Seasonspree, which is like this big sort of community event. And so you're going through time, you start walking around, and on each little like patch of land, it's like separated by a river. So you like cross the river and you're on like a new patch of land and a new little like quest area sort of thing. So you'll run into people within the community, and they'll just be like, oh, I'm looking for this, or I need a pencil, I lost my hammer and I need to build a bridge, that sort of thing. And then so you continue on, you inevitably find that item somewhere else, and then you can go back and give it to that person who needed it. And then that like changes the world around you. So for example, What was it? The pencil one.
Someone once it was signing
Yeah, someone
autographs.
wanted to sign autographs at this like upcoming concert or event or something. And so if you don't give them the pencil, like by the time you get to that day, there's like a little sign, saying like what events or like what's happening in the community that day. So you get to that day. If you didn't give them the pencil, then, it's like, oh, this person really wanted to sign autographs but can't, that sort of thing. But if you give it to them, they can, and then you get that item. You can get an autograph from them and you get that item. So it's that sort of thing where you give someone something, eventually that pays off, gives you something back, and then, probably that's going to be paid forward, pass it on to someone else. They're going to give you something else in return, that sort of thing. So, yeah, just, very, very simple controls, simple look, really like beautiful. What is it, sort of like watercolory style
Kind
or
of,
like
yeah.
airbrushed almost? I don't know. Just a really nice, cozy game sort of look. Definitely, I think would capture the eyes of a lot of our community. And yeah, I had a good time with it. I think it was really great handheld, and I'm kind of picky too about like what I want to play on handheld.
Great Steam Deck game in the same vein.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
One of the things I heard them talking to someone else about was they wanted to make it really accessible, where it's it's one-handed play as possible. I don't know if it was for you or if it was just like a toggle and then it turns this way, but they were mentioning like the animal jumps on their own and swims on their own, and like you don't have to like push an extra button to do that. You can just hold right. Like, was that true for you?
I think so.
Yeah, so it's just all action.
Right,
you just go. You don't have to like do any extra button presses for anything.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And then they even said that there's like in the language settings, there's English and then there's simple English, so that like if you're coming in as a second language or anything like that, like it's very, they make it so it's like very understandable, or younger players, same thing. And talking about trying to make this something that everybody can play, and so
right.
we always appreciate that too. Yeah, Seasonspree. And then after that, we
were just kind of looking around again. We were nearby, saw this one that was on the list of emails we got, something we wanted to check out, something co-op, which we haven't had too many co-op sessions yet.
We had Rugrats. That's kind of it.
Yeah. So we were able to stop by and see Bytebond, which is a little game where you're playing as these two little robots that roll around, and it's sort of like each one has their own action. One of them can like suck up energy and pass it to the other, and the other one can like output that energy into like these different like batteries and storage banks, and things like that.
And so, there's two little bots rolling around, and they're like inside of a computer, and something's going on in the computer. Some like kind of virus, is polluting it. And so, you both work together with this. One can send absorb energy, and one can send energy. And so you're like, working together, where it's like, okay, you can absorb energy, but then this door you can't get through if you're too big, because when you absorb the energy, you like you bubble up a little bit. And so it's very much that thing of like, okay, how do we get through here to make sure that we can power this thing over here, but then you can't get through that door when you have energy. Oh, do we transfer it through these pipes? And so it's kind of that interesting thinking where you're just constantly going back and forth and trying to figure out like exactly how to pass this power back and forth. Has a fun kind of like the marble rolling, kind of like the ball characters, and you just kind of like, whoa, get carried away with the momentum and stuff. And I really like the like inside a computer aesthetic. It's very like almost like it reminds me of like Brink, the old CGI cartoon from the 90s. Um, it doesn't really look like that, but it just like the vibe is kind of there. And yeah, it was a really like this was one of those longer demos, and blessed be it was on a couch.
Yes. Like already needed that early in the day,
exactly.
but it
So,
was so needed.
and it was like it relieved us so much
Yeah.
playing this, and it was a longer demo too. So yeah, we just hopped on and just really had a fun time. Like it was just like there's a little dash button. We're just like bumping into each other all the time, and it was really fun.
Some good like actual,
Puzzles.
some real thinky puzzles.
Yeah.
We were struggling through some of them, but we made it to the end, finished the demo.
One of the things that's really fun is the way they do combat, which is again using that you suck up energy from like these energy towers, and then you put it into other things that unlock like gates and all that kind of stuff, power, you know, platforms that raise up, that kind of thing. But then when there's enemies, these are kind of like red, scary, virusy beast thing. So it would be that Julie would have to suck up the power out of the like power bank, send it to me, because oh no, I would.
Yeah.
Did you send it to me? Yeah. And that's all Julie could do is like suck up and send it to me. Then I would have to go over to the enemy, shoot the power into the enemy, and then Julie would have to come back and then like suck the energy out of it, and that would kill the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like this kind of interesting where like we both have to work together where it's like, okay, hurry, roll over to me, give it to me, and then I'll give it to them, and then you gotta go get it. And the whole time you're dodging it as it's trying to come and get you. And so it was an interesting like mix of like thinky puzzle and then like kind of a chaotic action, where you're having to like really think on your feet,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure you're getting these enemies eliminated. And yeah, another thing I appreciated was kind of it's not like obviously a really intense thinker of a of a narrative, but at first, you're rolling through this like this alleyway, basically this technological alleyway, and across the way in the distance you can see another same kind of alleyway, and you see another little rolly guy. You're like, oh look, there's friends. We have
that
friends.
looks like me.
Woohoo! And then you do some more puzzles, and we end up doing the same thing. You see like the distance. You're like, oh, our friend. And I remember you were trying to keep going, and I was like, wait, let's wait for our friend to show up. And then the friend rolled. I was like, okay, let's go, let's follow him. And then we see him. He gets to a certain part. He stops, looks up, and then just gets blasted by some like red laser. And we're like, what? Is that gonna happen to us? And I think that's when they introduced the enemies after that. And so kind of fun storytelling there, and curious to see where that all goes. Never a dull moment.
We just got food delivered right in the middle of talking about Bytebond, so no worries. We're back.
I don't know if we were just cutting it off in the middle. I don't know what we were last saying, but that was Bytebond.
That was Bytebond.
Bond.
Bytebond, sorry. See? Brain is everywhere.
Yeah. And then so after that we thought about checking out another game they have there called Co-Ridden. One we'll hopefully get to because that demo seems very long and very extensive, and every time we tried several times today, seemed like someone was deep in the throes of that demo and not really looking to get up anytime soon. Right. So it looks really cool though. It's like dinosaurs and like it's co-op, and you can like ride the dinos and you can turn into one, and it's a whole thing. But after that we were like, you know what, let's take a break. I think is this when no, this isn't when we had lunch, but we were like, let's just go get our bearings before our first appointment of the day. and we kind of just like cooled it after that, and then got ready to check out Ender Magnolia. Ender Magnolia or it's Magnolias? I think I'm just thinking it's plural because the first game in this series is Ender Lilies.
Singular.
Okay, and then
singular, yes.
We checked out Ender Magnolia. So again, just like yesterday, if it's just your first one you're watching, we're not going to talk too much about these appointment ones because we will have full articles down the line, and then maybe we'll make little videos or something for those or something. But we're not going to talk too much about them. But that was a really fun one. Spoke to the CEO and creative director. Was that the title, or just CEO and something of Binary Haze? Another second ever time doing an interview through an interpreter, which was fun. And then we got to play some of the build, both what's out now in early access and then a little bit past what is available in early access, and just get a quick glimpse of that kind of stuff.
They called it a test map.
Yeah, test map. No bosses or anything like that. Not finished, obviously. And then we got to see that as well. And that was really cool. And then as we were wrapping up, they gave us a little gift.
That was so nice, so unexpected.
From Binary Haze, and we're gonna unbox. We haven't even looked at this yet. I know we know what it is.
Yeah.
But we haven't looked at it yet, and so
gave us that fancy box, and I was like, "Oh,
here's
I wasn't expecting something like this."
So I don't know how much is gonna get picked up here. Where's the? Is it just at the top?
Yes.
Okay.
Live unboxing. Wow. Is this content?
I think so. I think this is how you do content.
Is this content creation?
And you take this off, and then.
You got this.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
Oh, this one's Ender Lilies, actually. Is there two different ones?
Oh, I don't know.
It felt like he had... We told them...
yeah, very needed.
Yeah, we told them when they gave it, we were like, this is going to be necessary to survive the rest of this week. Let's just quickly check. I feel like the one he was fanning was Ender Magnolia. But maybe my brain was like, it's Ender Magnolia.
We could have, closed the gaps in our brain, not really paid attention.
But that was really sweet, and we're excited for that game. This was one that we got the appointment for because I knew it was a big deal. I wanted to check it out, but we hadn't really properly played. I hadn't really properly played the first one, and so we started that before PAX, and Ender Lilies.
Both Ender Lilies.
And we both have really fallen in love with it. So excited to check out more of the sequel, which you can check out now in early access. Again, wishlist everything and check out what you can check out, which this game, you can go and play now. So check it out. And you stay tuned for more from us. Trying to get this back on there. And we'll just be fanning away until then. Well, good chat.
It was a good chat. We just want to stress, that Ender Lilies has been really fun and is sort of my first Metroidvania that I've ever really latched onto. That's just not really my cup of tea usually. So it's saying something,
Really beautiful, really great soundtrack, and they're continuing all of that, if not everything to the next level in Ender Magnolia. So check it out. Pretty cool.
After that, we had a little lunch break.
We some
coffee. We had a semi-dry turkey sandwich, but also
way
it was better than last year when we got probably the exact same thing.
So they upgraded their recipe.
Still working on it. Just a super quick break.
Yeah, just kind of
in between.
Just sat for a little and ate, and Is this when we took the ibuprofen? I feel like it might have been.
No, it was before. It
Okay.
was that first like getting our bearings break. Like it was pretty early in the day. It was like noon, but yeah, it saved our butts. So.
And then we, had a pretty quick turnaround in less than an hour, basically between appointments. And so our next appointment was for Urban Myth Dissolution Center. If you watched our Summer Game Fest coverage, you'll know that this caught our eye as little detective and paranormal fans over here. And it's essentially as I heard the PR person for the publisher or someone from the publisher saying to us and to several other folks, it is like Phoenix Wright and Japanese mythology meets Scooby Doo. And it's essentially this organization that helps to dispel and disprove urban myths. So that means like Bloody Mary and Jack, like all these these scary rumors that spread, and this group works with them, but then there's like a paranormal twist to it all too. And so again, we won't talk too much about that. You played this one, and we both came away really excited. We didn't have an interview for this one, which we found out, but we're looking to set that up, send some questions over to the team, hear back. But we really liked that one. It was a timed demo, so it was very like, how far can you get?
Clicking through, like I'm such a reader and kind of a slow reader sometimes in games because I just want to like make sure I'm getting every little thing. But I was taking it all in and then.
It was under the clock.
Yeah.
But that was fun too, and
it was a good one.
And we got to
still very much excited for it.
Make a connection, a more direct connection. Because oftentimes you're working through PR. And so, like, this one, we got to talk to someone from the publisher and, just have a nice little back and forth and learn a little more details about it and then make a connection there, So that was a good time.
Yeah. And
then after that, we're kind of free to roam about the cabin, as they say on airplanes. And we were waiting till 4 p.m. was our next appointment. So we had a couple hours. And we just kind of wandered and wandered and wandered. And I can't remember exactly. It's a publisher that we ended up going to. It was like one full publisher that we stumbled into, but we got to check out ChainStaff. It was just one of those, you walk up, you're like, oh, it's just open. And that was the thing that was jarring about today, is that it was lots of crowds, but then oftentimes you'd walk up to something and be like, oh, it's just, I can just play. You see like a whole crowd like wandering past, and you're like, there's a game right here you could play, and so that was what ChainStaff was, and we hopped on. And another one from Summer Game Fest. This was an interesting one with Summer Game Fest because they had the like teaser trailer where it was literally just like the ChainStaff flying through the air.
Like 5-second little.
And they're like, what more? And you're like, oh yeah, okay. And then they showed the full trailer later. This is basically like, it kind of feels like if the Contra devs never made Contra in the 90s or 80s, even, whatever it was, and then finally got to make it now, this is the game that it would be. And so it's a very silly, over-the-top, gory, and just like chaotic, big soldier guy taking down aliens, but big soldier guy happens to have an alien attached to his head, and if they remove it, it kills him. And so there's just like, this is like kind of skipping to the end of the demo where they showed a little more of the story, but like there's this funny sequence of like them being like, like, well, why can't we just remove this alien? And like, well, it's attached to his, his
keeping his heart beating.
Yeah, it's keeping his heart beating and his lungs breathing. Like, if we take it out, he'll die. And then there's like a doctor talking, and they're like, she's like, he may just be my brother. And you're like, why? Like, it's just kind of like, feels like this like soap opera almost, like kind of silly.
Even if he wasn't my brother, I wouldn't take that risk.
Yeah, that's what it was. And then, yeah, like this soldier, like, well, damn it, I need him, you know, so we're sending him back out there, you know, and it's like, just has a silly kind of vibe to it. But yeah, it's this chaotic, you know, run and gun. One thing I really appreciated about it that I kept forgetting is that, like, you know, if you're thinking of Contra, you're running, you're shooting, but it's like it's so hectic and so fast that you can't just stop and shoot. Like you have to, you have to like jump and like aim yourself just right to get some shots sometimes. And what I appreciate, there's a button that just like sticks you in place, and then you can take your shots. But of course, the star of the show is the ChainStaff, and that's really fun to use because you can throw it out, and then it becomes like a ladder almost, and you can climb up it. You can charge it up, and then like throw it through things and really like demolish some enemies in like one hit. But then you have to charge it up, so you're like running around dodging, and then you throw it. And it has also like a grapple hook kind of chain power where you can like swing around the map, and that's so when you start that you just go that's so fast. And like I can only imagine like what speedrunners could do with that, and how they can demolish that game pretty fast. Yeah, just super fun, super chaotic. Did not expect a game like this to have a choice in it, where, you know, I eventually came up to this soldier, and he was like, I don't know what exactly was he just saying, help
like,
me,
yeah,
right?
he was like looking for rescue.
And you walk up, and then you press a button, and it says decide. And, you know, I'll show the photo that Julie took here, and it says like rescue, eat his heart, suck out his brains, you know. And I was like, what? Excuse me? But of course, we're on the show floor doing a demo, and consequences don't matter. I just suck out his brains.
Naturally.
And so you jam your gun into this soldier's head, and then the brain goes into the gun, and then it goes, gun upgraded. Like it's like very like da-da-da, like, you know, showman screen. And, you know, so it seems like there will be some like choices you have to make where, you know, it'll give you some boosts and benefits to different things. And so that was like an unexpected angle. And then, yeah, it all culminates as this wild boss fight with just this giant like maw of a beast, and you can like break out his teeth using the ChainStaff or shooting them out. And then in the back, it's like his like tonsils are like dangling, and like they're like shooting out electricity. And took a few tries, but, you know, I ChainStaffed the hell out of that guy, and got the win in the end.
It was a gnarly boss.
Yeah, it was constantly chomping down, so you have to like stand in the right spot in his mouth where like there's a gap in his teeth basically, and you can like avoid him. And so, yeah, managed to pull that out, and that was a fun time.
Do you think the like the decision making in that game is sort of like the soldier like battling the demon virus parasite attached to him?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
He's like, I want to rescue this guy, and then the parasite's like,
but the demons, but the demons.
He's got like a venom.
It's funny too, after you did that, because there are like little stations like soldiers throughout the map. Mm-hmm. So after I sucked that guy's brains out, there was like the soldiers that you would run into, they were like, traitor, kill him, and then they'd start attacking you. And so, you know, there's consequences to making that choice, which is kind of fun. And I'm curious to see how that all manifests in the full game. I was intrigued by it, but like after playing it, I'm like, I'm all in. And I like the sense of scale. Like there was, beyond the big mouth monster, there was like this like fist that was blocking the way, and then I was able to like throw the staff at his arm and then like chip away, like, and that like agitated it and got it out of the way, you know. And so it's like I like the sense of scale there of these monsters. This publisher also was showcasing Demon Spore, which is a game I've played during a Steam Next Fest. Really cool game where you're just going from room to room trying to fight off this growth, this like gross, like bubbly skin growth.
That's exactly what it is.
Growing through this facility, and we hopped on because it's a couch, another couch.
Yes.
So we're like, let's just play this as a couch. But I mean, I had already played it. I was excited for it, and it's like they were showcasing the 4-player co-op with this because I played it in single player, and so I was like, oh yeah, hop on, let's try it. And we noticed there was like a third player that wasn't moving, and none of the controllers would make him move. So they're like, huh. But we're like, whatever, let's play. And then we hopped on and had to start dragging this body around, and then we kept being like, well, hopefully he'll just die.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up in a situation where we got to a room, we both died, and then the third player was being attacked and just not dying. And so there's something went incredibly wrong with this demo, and we were kind of giggling about it. And even the devs, like people working the booth, were like, well, "I've never seen that before." And I mean, things happen. Things happen on the show floor. Don't blame them at all. Don't like hold that against them at all. But always like to have that fun games done quick. Never seen that before kind of moment. And so that was fun. And then after that, it was time for appointment. Last appointment of the day. Hour long appointment. So big beefy boy. It's Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is kind of like the biggest deal game, like, as far as like mainstream like success and stuff, that we're checking out this PAX. And it was really cool. It was an hour-long demo. Again, not going to say much. It's cool because, again, we have that thing of some appointments we show up and it's like you barely can tell that they knew you were coming. And even one appointment today, I'm not going to like point out any particular one, but like one appointment today, we showed up and afterwards they're like, you guys didn't really have an appointment with us, did you? And we're like, no, we did. Like it seems like they just thought we walked up and said, hey, let us play your game, know.
It's just like not always communicated to the whole team, I think.
So, just like that, it's not about us, but like, it doesn't feel great when you show up and it feels like you're being an intrusion on their time, when it's like, we booked this. So, we show up to this one and it's like, oh, Nate from Video Games Are Good, cool, awesome, and then like, oh, we got you set up here. And then this one was really cool because the person from the dev team like gave us a little initiation basically and a presentation about the game and what they're trying to do, and then guided us kind of towards this sequence that we got to play, and then chatted with us after too, and kind of gave us a vibe. And then we got to interview him, and that was a fun time, and it's a good way to wrap up a day of solid appointments. It's a smaller day of appointments, but some bigger names and just good vibes.
They have a super big presence with their booth.
That publisher, I think it's PlayOn. And Kingdom Come Deliverance has like 3 rows of computers, and they have like a boxing game and some other stuff. They have a full photo presentation where there's guys in full suits of armor that you can go and take a photo with, and so that was really fun. And then we finished that, and we're like, well, there's only like an hour left of show floor time. So again, just kind of wandered a little bit and ended up checking out Daedalus area. They are now the publishers of Haunt and Seek. Haunt and Seek. The one of the big games we covered last year, our first game of last year, and so we wanted to kind of check it out, but we were gonna go see Hides. But then we kind of stopped and got our eye caught by this game, Once Upon a Puppet, which is Pinocchio vibes, kind of like back rooms of the back behind the scenes of like a stage play kind of vibes, where like every character that you meet, all these are these like wooden marionette kind of looking things, and they're all named like stagehands. Like everyone's a stagehand, and it's all about cleaning up the mess backstage and that kind of thing. And you ended up playing this one. Want to briefly touch on
it? So it seems like the story for that was kind of like, so you had this puppet, and then you also had, like Nate was mentioning, a stagehand, which was like like a literal like disembodied hand like
that was pulling the strings,
puppeting it. Yeah. And so you actually have control of both of them, which I didn't actually know at first. I didn't know you could control the hand. But yeah, you know, they're both like characters and they sort of like talk to each other, and as you're going throughout the world, it explains a bit of the lore.
Actually, I just want to say that it's a puzzle platformer kind of thing. And then yeah, the way I had it explained to me was basically the left side of the controller controls the little puppet whose name was Nev. Nev something like that. Nevra or something like that.
Just Nev.
Nev, and then I cannot remember the hand's name, but
they
it's
both
in
have
the
names.
footage.
It was like Drew. One of them was Nev, and one was like Drew or something.
Maybe
like
that's
that.
right. Yeah.
I don't know. We don't need to know the exact names, but
but yeah, and then the right side of the controller so the left stick controlling the puppet, the right stick controlling the hand.
Right.
And there'll be different ways that manifests, but
yeah. So, just you know, some platforming. You're going around this sort of like stage area that's like really broken down. Like things have become monsters. Like what do you call it? Like the like, rigging.
Oh yeah.
Of a stage, and like you know the ropes and things like that
turn it where they call them like junk monsters.
Yeah, they became junk monsters, and they were like, you know, alive and
there was this like
feral roaming around.
Bubbly goo.
Yeah,
that was showing up backstage, and it was like sucking people up and stuff, and so you have to avoid that. And yeah, we just were caught by the visual style and kind of it was vibesy, you know, it wasn't like, you know, mind blowing in any way, but like really it was like the vibes were right, and the puzzle platforming has a lot of potential. Again, like one of the things that was really cool to me was there were some moments where you had to like slingshot, right?
Yeah.
And so the way that worked was, again, you have these like magical strings that the hand is puppeting as you're walking around. So the hand would like hold on to something, and then the puppet would walk backwards from it. So it's the strings are getting pulled.
Yeah.
And then the hand would let go, and then you would go flying. And so that was like I was like, oh, that's a really neat, you know, way to do that and conceptualize that.
Yeah.
And so like just imagining where else they could take that. And, you know, they talked about, you know, down the line in this game, there will be moments where the hand and the puppet are a little more independent, you know, in puzzles and stuff. And, yeah.
Yeah, they did some interesting things with that. You know, that was both used for traversal, like flinging yourself across some big gap, or flinging yourself into like something you needed to break. And then there was one where you like had to tap it to break something. So there are a few different, you know, iterations of that, and has you do some interesting things. And then it seems like an interesting little world they're building where like there's this king that's sort of like destroying all of these sets, and so you come across these areas where there's just a bunch of like puppets homes, like wooden homes, and you know, different like pieces of a set that are just like crashed on the ground and broken in these giant piles.
Sometimes they're actively crashing onto you, and so you have to like
they're
dodge out of the way.
Stuff.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there were some moments where it was kind of serious. It was like, oh, you think this is a laughing matter? All these puppets have lost their homes and like all this other stuff.
Kind of almost like Tim Burton-y, like it's like whimsical and interesting, but then like it's some dark stuff going on. Yeah. And then it ended with like an oracle calling you into her tent, and then there was like a full-on cutscene that there was no subtitles, so you know, I saw you had to like lock in because it was really quiet, and then it was really loud outside, and so you're like, oh, they're trying to listen to that. So but yeah, it's so fun. I mean, it reminded me, I feel like it was the Saturday where towards the end, we ended up wandering to Daedalic, and on that day, we checked out Widow last year. And I feel like it was the same kind of thing where we just kind of were like, oh, look, the station's open. Why not, you know? And came away being like, oh, that's one to watch now, you know? And so, like, that was really a cool-looking game.
Yeah, and this was one that, you know, it's kind of rare that we find something that's like, this was not on my radar at all. I don't know this title.
Yeah, did not. I mean, honestly, Daedalic, a lot of their stuff, which is weird because we do
pay attention to
Yeah, we
them.
follow them.
But
pretty
like a
close.
decent amount of the stuff they had there, they had like this game called The Occultist over there that looked interesting, and Widow was popping.
Love Widow.
Widow was popping though. There was a line for Widow where these other games were just open. So yeah, it was a fun way to end the day, and then we were like, we only have like 15 minutes left. We don't really want to get stuck in a demo and then have to cut it off early or something. They're really strict about getting you off the show floor.
Like you better get out of here now.
We ended up going, what we did end up doing with our time was kind of window shopping, because they have a lot more shopping opportunities this year compared to last year. And while we were doing one of them, like a guy came up and was like, you have like 5 minutes and you got to get out of here. And we're like, okay. I was like, well, if you're like literally like paying, like they're going to make you just leave. But yeah, we window shopped a little bit, checked out like a cool little pin booth area. And they have this store selling a bunch of really cool video game vinyl things. I'm curious like what their representation, like are they part of the people that like help print these vinyls? Or are they like, because I saw some Mondo vinyls in there, and I know Mondo doesn't exist anymore, so I wonder if they like bought up their stock to like help sell it off.
Right.
But yeah, just a fun little outro to the day, and then came home, and we're gonna go eat shortly. But yeah, day 2. It was a good day. Didn't get a ton, on our plate, but we took, we were healthy. This is a big thing, and we got what we did do. I feel like we were pretty happy with a lot of it. It wasn't like none of it felt like, oh, we should. Why did we do that with our time? We were pretty satisfied and excited with what we checked out. So now day 3. This is like our second heaviest day of appointments. And it's also a day where we have some, like, we really want to try to do these things. So, going to be quite an adventure getting all that done.
Back to the grind.
Yeah. I'll say that one of the most exciting things we're going to start the day with is the PAX Rising
Been
area.
Waiting for this. Every time we walk by, I'm like, can we just go now?
It is basically like they win, right? Like they submit to be part of it, and then they're chosen.
I think so.
And it's a bunch of just really interesting indies. And we have 2 appointments there tomorrow, split up sadly, but 2 appointments there. And then we also want to check out so much of the other games that are there. So
just kind of left the morning open to
or
browse.
9,
something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just spending the entire first few hours just browsing that area.
See what we can get to.
We're dedicated to actually showing up even probably before the show floor opens, getting in line and making sure we just get over there first thing. So that's gonna be day 3. Yeah. Any last words on day 2?
No, it was a good chill Saturday. I think probably needed to have that little dip before I think we're going back into.
Well, and chill amidst, it was forced chill.
Yeah.
I don't think we could afford to do anything but chill.
Exactly. Like you said, that was the healthy choice for how we spent our day today, which was good.
So, yeah.
Satisfied with it.
Day 2 done. Day 3 incoming. Check out all the rest of the stuff. Julie's popping out these cute montages. Well, I mean, there'll be one at the beginning of this one, but check those out on our Instagram. And then we're popping everywhere right now. Content, written words, not happening until after we're back home.
Site will be crickets for a moment.
But check out our videos. Day 1 we just had up, and then day 0 even. And yeah. Thanks so much for getting us here and checking this all out and making this a reality for us. So, yeah. Video games are good.
Video games are good. We were representing today.
Yeah, we forgot to comment on that. Yeah, we were repping the brand, which I think helped in a few situations. Like, oh yeah, you guys, But yeah, thanks so much, everybody.
Bye.